Hello artists! Today I'm going to celebrate Dot Day by creating artworks inspired by two comic book artists who were made famous by dots. The first is Ben Day dots. Ben Day dots are a cheap way illustrators can show color and value by using many tiny dots. This process got its name from the illustrator and printer Benjamin Henry Day Jr. when he invented this process in the late 19th century. This method usually relies on colors like cyan, magenta, yellow, and black. I'm going to try to make some Ben Day dots of my own, using a sheet of paper in the color of my choice, and then a large sheet of bubble wrap. When we're doing this method or this technique, I really think it's important not to pop the bubbles, no matter how satisfying it is. Remember, don't pop those bubbles when you're doing this project, artist. I'm going to be painting my Ben Day dots, so I need to grab these 5 things: a sheet of newspaper, a paper towel, a cup of water, a brush, and lastly some paint. I grabbed the colors that we would usually see in Ben Day dots, like cyan, yellow, magenta, I used purple, and then black. You can see I've begun painting the bubbles on my bubble wrap. I'm going to try and make a gradient of colors, or gradual change in colors, going from darkest in the opposite corners to lightest in the middle. Pay extra close attention to how I wash my brush each time I get a new color. Try to remind the people you're working with why that is such an important idea. When you finish up, really make sure that you clean that brush extra well with your water cup before you take that back to where you found it. The next step is to take that sheet of paper, make sure your name is on the back, and then press that piece of paper right on top of your bubble wrap. Don't press too hard because you will pop the bubbles if you do, but just gently tap it into the paper. When you peel off the paper, you will see your dots have transferred over. Both of these can dry on a drying rack or any other spot that you might have to let paint dry, and then you can work on cleaning up the art supplies you've been using. Take everything back where you found it, and remember, a good golden rule is to leave your work area better than you found it. Welcome back. I've got all my paint supplies back out again because I am now going to try the second type of comic book illustration dots made famous, called Kirby dots. Kirby dots are used in illustrations as a way to show the crackle of energy such as lightning or a superpower strength. These have been used widely in comic books and other illustrations since first being introduced by the artist Jack Kirby in the 1960s. They are sometimes called Kirby Krackle. Once again, I am starting with a colored piece of paper of my choice, and can you imagine that? I picked orange again. And making sure my name is on the back is going to be a great first step. After that, I can flip my paper over and I can begin painting my Kirby dots, or Kirby Krackle. I've got the same 4 colors I used for my Ben Day dots out, just because I thought that they were great colors to complement my orange paper. You can see here that the technique is essentially just taking the tip of your brush to make tiny dots all over the paper. Try to do it in a sporadic pattern, nothing that's too predictable. Also, we don't want to make it too chaotic either. If you think about it, Kirby Krackle is illustrating the energy. Energy is chaotic, but also somewhat orderly. So try to keep your dots kind of close, but also just in random sequences, here, there, and just have fun with it. Think about what energy might look like if it was flowing through your paper and paint. Just like before, clean up your work area and leave your paint to dry. Make sure that you leave the area you are working cleaner than you found it. I want you to pick either Ben-Day dots or Kirby dots and attempt to paint them in the way that I showed today. Once you're done painting, you can take a break because they will need to dry before our next step, which I'm about to start right now. I think it's important to remind ourselves which illustrator made which type of dot painting. Kirby dots are those random dots that look a lot like the flow of energy. Ben-Day dots are those orderly ones that just kind of create areas of color or value. For the second step of your project, I want you to take scrap paper and create an illustration or drawing to go with either your Kirby dots or your Ben-Day dots. Because I did both, I'm going to show illustrations for both, just so you have a couple ideas of what you could make. Remember though, you're the artist and you have ultimate creative choice. Be creative, make something cool, wow your friends, and work hard. I am currently working on making a Melvin-mobile, pencil-shaped vehicle that just flies through the air. And I'm going to work responsibly to cut it out, draw it, put it together, color it, and glue it all down to have one finished work of art to go with my Ben-Day dot painting. Enjoy the remainder of this video while you watch me work on my second illustration or drawing with my Kirby Krackle as well. Enjoy, artist. Here's something worth mentioning. Pay close attention to how I'm gluing down my papers. I'm not using a slime amount of glue. That would be an extreme amount of slimy glue all over my paper. This is not a slime craft. I repeat, it is not a slime craft. We are only using dots of glue to attach things to paper, or paper to paper. Just like Ben-Day used dots, and just like Kirby used dots, I think it's important to use dots when you glue as well. That's really all you need, and artists have the responsibility to take only what they need. When you're all finished, you can set your artwork somewhere to dry. I'm setting mine on the drying rack, and if you have extra time to work, then you can start something new. For me, something new is just finishing my Kirby dots this time. Same idea, I'm using scrap paper to create something new to go with my dots. I think you're really going to enjoy this one. It made me laugh, so I hope it makes you laugh too. Ta-da! My hard work has paid off, and I now have two works of art that show what Ben-Day dots and Kirby dots are all about. I really couldn't be more proud, so now it's your turn to try, artist. Good luck.